Hi, my name is Mike McGrath, and I'm going to be addressing the role of business and investing in society. I'm a finance and international business major, so I'm naturally drawn to this existential question of what the role of business and investing ought to be in society. I'd like to start off by asking everyone to reflect on the everyday relationships they have with these companies here. Uh, these corporations dominate society today. Think about Facebook, for example, the power to swing an election. Amazon can deliver things to your door in 1 or 2 days now. These corporations play a huge role in our everyday life and really shape how we live. And not only do they dominate, but they're responsible for shaping the society of the future. Um, how they act will have major implications for how we act, and the environmental and social result consequences will really shape the society of the future. So when it comes to the role of business, there's really two ways of thinking. The first being the old school philosophy is promotes financial profits at all costs. Milton Friedman here, famous American economist, said that the goal is to just increase profits as long as it's acting fairly. And this financially driven capitalism really comes at a cost to society. There's a major tension between the shareholders getting the maximum return on their investments and the well-being of society. For McDonald's and tobacco firms, of course, it would be in the best interest of their profits and their shareholders to have us eat a Big Mac or smoke a pack of cigarettes every day, but this would be terrible for societal health and well-being. So it's quite clear that there's a tension between what's best for the corporation and what's best for society. But there's been a shift in recent years towards responsible capitalism. The pandemic and malpractice in the great financial crisis has shifted businesses towards acting more responsibly. Louis Vuitton during the pandemic has shifted from making colognes and perfumes to hand sanitizer. Many corporations like Bank of America have donated a ton of money to fight systemic racism. And also brands like Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's have gotten removed to again fight social injustices. But the question is, of course, will it last? As a subset, ESG and SRI investing have been born as well and grown tremendously now with over 500 billion in assets. So when we invest in stocks, we buy an ownership stake in a business. This is important to remember because by ESG investing, what's happening is investors are choosing or removing investments based on ethical guidelines. Essentially, where ESG investors are investing in the companies that are acting most ethically. And when you think about the environmental, social, and governance, these are really the companies that are going to have the best impacts on society going forward. So in turn, by providing them with the most money and capital, we are promoting the companies that are going to create the best future for us all. But this brings me back to the normative business questions of how ought a corporation act and how ought investors act. Should a corporation act in self-interest and generate as much profits as possible, potentially at a cost to society, or should they act socially responsible? And then how investors act. Should they invest only in ethical companies that are going to have the best impacts in society, but potentially sacrificing financial reward, or should they only invest to maximize their own financial gain?